Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of Off the Bench with Scotty and Corey. I am Scotty. We are still without Corey to this point. He is actually traveling, so we don't even have his picks for tonight, but that is alright. We soldier on in his memory. Safe travels to our good friend, our lovely co host. But let's jump right into this. We're going to really quickly review Thursday night's game, where the Seattle Seahawks, in a nail biter, beat the Arizona Cardinals 23-20 on a last-second Jason Myers 52-yard field goal. Nice play. It was a beautifully played game. Very tough competition for both teams. The NFC West looks really, really good. Three teams above 500 and Arizona right there at 500. Tough competition out west. But moving right along, we don't have a ton of time. Jumping right into the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers at Croke Park in Dublin, Ireland. It's going to be a lot of fun watching that game. I have the Steelers in this game. I have them beating the Minnesota Vikings in what some would call an upset. I think a lot of people are looking at this game, especially after what the Vikings did to the Bengals last week. What a shellac, and they did put on the Tigers of Cincinnati. It was a very interesting game, but I think the Steelers eke this game out. It's going to be 24-21 in favor of the Steelers. Moving right along, we're going to go to the Meadowlands, where the visiting Los Angeles Chargers take on the New York Giants. I think the Chargers continue to roll in this game. Justin Herbert and that offense are looking beautiful. That defense is playing stellar. I have the Chargers taking this game 31-17. I think they continue to roll. Moving right along, we have the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans in a divisional battle. I think the Houston Texans get right in this game. They've been close. They've overall looked better than the Titans. And I think it's high time that C.J. Stroud and company put it all together, even with all of the injuries that they do have on that offensive side. And I think they beat the Tennessee Titans. I think they win this game. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring either. I got this one 21-14. Moving right along, we have the New Orleans Saints traveling to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills, and I think the Buffalo Bills win handily in this game. The Saints were intriguing. They did play very hard last week, and put up a really good fight. It was close until it wasn't in the fourth quarter, and I think they hang around in the first half. But I think in the second half, Josh Allen and that Bills offense start to pull away, and that Bills defense locks down. I think this is a 34-20 game up there in Orchard Park. Now to my most intriguing game of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Raymond James Stadium to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in what could potentially be a showdown between playoff teams. The Eagles are 3.5-point favorites in this game. I'm taking the underdogs. I have the Tampa Bay Bucs bouncing back, even without Mike Evans, potentially still without Chris Godwin. I have them bouncing back and winning this game against the Eagles. I have it as a pretty high-scoring game. It's 35-31 for me. It's going to be a very interesting contest. We're going to have to see if the Eagles are going to have to continue to play from behind. Is this going to be an everyday thing for them? Is this what Sundays are going to look like for them for a while? Who knows? We'll find out against another playoff caliber team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have a lot of faith. If Baker Mayfield plays in this game, I have the Tampa Bay Bucs winning this game 35-31. Moving right along, where we have the Cleveland Browns traveling just north to visit the Detroit Lions. And I gotta level with you guys. The Browns played so well to beat the Green Bay Packers. An incredible fourth or second half comeback. Actually, I think it was all fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken. An incredible fourth quarter comeback. But I don't think that happens twice. I don't think that happens to two NFC North teams in a row in consecutive weeks for the Cleveland Browns. I think the Detroit Lions handle business and play some of their best football to date and win this game 35-21. Moving right along, we have the Carolina Panthers traveling to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots. And I like what the Panthers did last week against the Falcons. I like where that offense is trending, but I also love what that defense did. 2 defensive touchdowns in last week's game, and I think that makes a world of difference. If that defense can go up to Foxborough and play like that against Drake May and company, then I have this game slated 27-21 in favor of the Carolina Panthers. Next, we have the 2-1 Jacksonville Jaguars traveling out west to take on the San Francisco 49ers, still without Brock Purdy. So we are going to see a very interesting battle here. I still have a lot of faith in Mac Jones. I love what Jacksonville is doing right now. They're winning gritty, gutty games, but there's nothing really that really stands up on the stat sheet, and the sheer amount of talent that is out west in San Francisco just makes it hard to pull against them, especially whenever you have guys stepping up like Ricky Parasol. You have Kendrick Bourne getting back into the flow of the offense. He's going to be a bigger part of this game. I have the San Francisco 49ers barely defending their home turf. I have this game at 23-21, and it's going to be won on a last-second field goal. Moving right along, we have the Indianapolis Colts traveling to L.A. to take on the Rams of Los Angeles. But it's going to be a really good game out there in SoFi. Do I believe that the Rams are motivated after that disappointing last-minute loss to the Eagles? Absolutely. But do I think that Danny Dimes and company continue the momentum? Absolutely. Absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but number 1 scoring offense in the NFL right now. And it's not really all that close. Like, they are just putting up points, y'all. Daniel Jones looks incredible. The offense looks really good. Jonathan Taylor had 3 touchdowns last week. Let's establish that. That running game is also on fire. So I think the Colts go out west and they put it on the Rams. I have this game at 38-30. So it's going to be a very interesting game to watch. Moving right along, we have what many people would have believed in the offseason to be a potential AFC Championship matchup between the 1-2 Baltimore Ravens traveling out to Kansas City to take on the 1-2 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs got right against the Giants last week. It was not the most glorious win, but they did look way better than they had in weeks 1 and 2. The Ravens have just been on the receiving end of some bad luck recently. I personally think that the Ravens go out west, get right. That offense has way too much talent. Derrick Henry does not get slowed down to the tune of 56 yards again this week. And they punched the Chiefs in the mouth right there at home. So we're going to see a 34-31 victory on behalf of the Baltimore Ravens here. Now the Chicago Bears and Las Vegas Raiders are our next matchup. The Bears traveling out to Vegas to take on those Raiders. And the Bears looked really, really good against the Cowboys last week. It was probably the best I've ever seen this iteration of the Bears team play. The defense dominated. The offense moved at will. It was a fantastic game on all 3 phases by Ben Johnson's Chicago Bears. And the Raiders, outside of Trey Tucker, did not have much going last week. They got stifled. They were constantly getting bullied around in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Washington absolutely had their way with Vegas. And I think that continues with Chicago, even though Las Vegas will be at home in Allegiant Stadium. I don't think that matters much at all. I think the Bears come to Allegiant and beat the Raiders 27-23. It's going to be a good game. Now, the matchup that I think has been on Dallas and Green Bay's mind since the last week of the preseason and the Micah Parsons trade. The Green Bay Packers travel south to Dallas, Texas to take on the Cowboys in the return of Micah Parsons to Dallas. I think that these Packers are motivated. They are angry with the way that Week 3 shook out. They are angry with the way that they gave away that football game to the Cleveland Browns. And Dallas is wayward right now. The offense doesn't look good. The defense doesn't look good. They looked very disheveled. They looked out of sync. They looked out of rhythm in Chicago last week. And I think the Green Bay Packers have a get-right game, and I don't think it's close. I have this game at 35-14 in favor of the Packers. Now, moving right along to our first Monday night game. And this is an AFC East matchup, and these two teams are fighting for the bottom as it currently sits. The 0-3 New York Jets travel to Miami to take on the 0-3 Miami Dolphins. And I think the Jets have a better chance of getting right here, pending Justin Fields plays. I don't think he plays in this game. I think Tyrod Taylor starts that game. And I don't see them overcoming the loss of Justin Fields. Tyrod Taylor is a plenty capable backup. Lots of starts in the NFL. But I think Tua and company are going to get right. There's too much talent on the offensive side of the ball. They are budding on defense. Things are going to start looking up. They win this game. It's going to be an ugly one. It's going to be 17-14 in favor of the Miami Dolphins over the New York Jets. And it's really a toss-up. It can go either way. But I just believe the Dolphins have the right breaks at the right times, and they take the win in this game. And our penultimate game for this week's slate, our second Monday night game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Denver Broncos, where those Bengals are traveling out west to take on Denver in Denver. And I think this is going to be the Bo Nix game. I think Denver has lost two very heartbreaking games this season so far. They did not look their best in their win against the Tennessee Titans. But I think they are going to put it all together. I think head coach Sean Payton and quarterback Bo Nix and all of the people on that defense, I think they are all very motivated after the past 2 weeks. And having a banged-up Cincinnati Bengals team come into town really bodes well for them, especially still not having Joe Burrow and a very underperforming wide receiver core with quarterback Jake Browning as well. I think that really hurts them. Denver takes this game 27-21 over those Bengals. And our final game of the week, we have the Washington Commanders traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, where we still see a struggling Michael Penix trying to get his feet under him for the season. Lost a heartbreaker in Week 1 against the Buccaneers. It's been tough sledding really ever since then. But the Commanders also come in wounded. There will be no Terry McLaurin. There will be no Jaden Daniels in this game for Washington. And I still have faith in that group, especially after backup quarterback Marcus Mariota comes in last week, puts up 41 points, and scores a couple of touchdowns, one through the air and one on the ground, to aid in the victory, 41-24 over the Las Vegas Raiders last week. I think they continue that momentum. I have a lot of faith in the depth of that wide receiver room, especially with Debo being there. We have Luke McCaffrey also in that wide receiver room. There's also rookie Jalen Lane, who scored his first punt return touchdown of the season last week against the Raiders. I think all of that momentum, plus no A.J. Terrell in this game, and a struggling quarterback with limited wide receiver options. I think it's going to be a get-right game for the Commanders and that secondary that gave up 165 yards and 3 touchdowns to Trey Tucker last week in Washington. And they win this game. It's going to be a close game. I have it at 28-24 in favor of the Commanders. If you guys want to see some really good football, this is going to be another fantastic week for NFL football, as evidenced by the Thursday night game, that divisional rivalry between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Fantastic game from whistle to whistle. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. I'm going to enjoy a lot of these games tomorrow. And the 2 games on Monday are also going to be very intriguing, especially given the injury situations in both of them. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I hope you guys have as much fun as I do. But we are sadly a little short on time, so that is going to be all. And I just want you guys to know, as always, we always end this way. We are super grateful for you, myself and Corey. Thank you guys so much for all of your support on YouTube, on all of your podcast streaming services, however you decide to listen to us. Thank you guys so very much. We are extremely grateful. And on behalf of our wonderful co-host, Corey, thank you guys so very much. Happy travels to you, Corey. We hope to have you back very soon. But as always, you guys, I am Scotty. We miss you, Corey. This has been Off the Bench, and we will see you guys next time.